as I begin recording. So, after your victory at the Crescent Crucible, you all decided to continue the rest of the afternoon perusing the streets of Itzel to take in a preview of what the town has to offer for the next 3 days that you're here. Liska spoke with Velum about his trauma in relation to Mortathax and about this dynamic she's noticed between Velum and Varesh. She also spoke to him about the situation with Itzel, in Itzel, with people going missing near the rock pools. Alas, Velum is adamant that everyone is here to relax and be unbothered by dangerous adventuring shenanigans. Found a group of performers in the street who were being asked about who were being questioned by the local Zakazel guard about some group of strangers that's been seen wandering about wearing dark leathers, possible relations to the Black Hand, maybe. After you all met up in the moonlit markets, you stumbled upon a procession, a small parade welcoming the fire nymphs to Itzel, a trio of magically tattooed, performing pyromancy, wielding fire lances, renowned throughout the dynasty, who are due to perform 2 nights from now. Angus decided to visit one of the finest clothiers in town, Coatl Couture, owned by renowned designer Lady Tlak, to see if he could procure some fancy new threads for a number of the party in order to gain access to the Ember Room, this exclusive and high status bar room here in Itzel. After that, everyone else headed back to the Crescent Forest Resort except Liska, who, during a performing street arena, accidentally gave a hopeful young warrior what may have been a concussion, and was profusely apologetic to the warrior's father, who was watching from the sidelights. And then she headed back to the resort. Dejar partook in some healing services, to which that mark upon her forehead, given to her by a deal with a hag, was highlighted. An offer to remove the curse was politely refused, perhaps at a later date with someone more skilled in the healing arts. Dejar and Grunker partook in some elemental baths, waters enchanted by magical herbs representing the 4 elements. A sort of sensory deprivation experience, and there was conversations about mushroom booze of all things. Sayun, Velum, and Liska partook in the massages and scented baths that you all sort of reconvened within the. And you all reconvened within the famous Crescent Falls hot springs, during which Sayun spoke about her life growing up in the empire of the Celestial Dragon in Kitang, her homeland, and the expectations and rules put upon her, her relationship with her strict father, and how one day she'd like to return home. Dejar, Angus, Grunker, and Velum decided they wanted to give dream magic sessions a try, to which they discovered that the therapist for these sessions, a dreamweaver by the name of Thalandra, was a satyr, much to Vadmir's excitement, who was this Thalandra who was following her Aramin, or calling or life dream in trade tongue, to help others understand their own dreams. So, she sat you down, asked you all a number of questions about your dreams, and with that, she moves on, last of all, to Grunker, considering I mistakenly left him out of the dream.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry. And yeah, with that, she turns towards you, Grunker.
Oh, I know.
Let's see here. Resort. Sorry, just grabbing my notes. So, she kind of leans over towards you, Grunker.
Hello.
So, can you describe the dream in as much detail as possible? What do you hear and feel? What do you see?
Well, honestly hard to describe because it's mostly feelings, but it's like I'm standing on like a rock, like a cliff or whatever, in the middle of like an ocean, and the ocean is like storming, like it's really like the waves are huge and it's really windy, and it's just like a complete storm, but there's no rain. It's just very, you know, very rough sea, so to say. And I feel like every time I have this dream is after I have, you know, I wouldn't say I, lose sleep over it, but it's a reoccurring one where it's generally after we have, had combat, and I've, been fighting. I get this in the dream. I just I get this compelling feeling to just jump into the water, and I do, and then it's just a struggle to make my way back to the rock, and I never know if I'm gonna make it. Every dream, it's all different. Like every instant, it feels like it's a different one. So I never know if I'm going to, end up drowning in the raging sea, or if I'm gonna make it up to the cliff again. And then so far I've made it up the cliff, and then I stand up high up on it again, and just same thing happen.
I see.
And I'm not sure what it means properly.
Does the water itself have any significance to you?
Well, when I get into the water, it doesn't feel like water. It's a lot warmer. It's very I don't know. I have my own little ideas as to why, but it kind of feels like, I think it has to do with my with my condition, so to say, with my my rage, so to say, and it's almost the same feeling as when I do that, and it's just this warm feeling it washes over me, and it's just like a struggle, and it feels like every time I jump into that sea, I'm not sure if I I'm always, I always have that worry of maybe I won't get, maybe I won't be able to get out this time, because it haven't happened to me, but it's something that have happened before to others, people who just kind of drown, just never just never get back up on that cliff.
I think so myself for a moment. You mentioned rage.
Yeah.
Do we have any unresolved emotional conflicts or issues that might be manifesting in our dreams, do you think?
Well, I mean, I had one thing. There was, my mother being murdered, but the person who did that is dead now. So that had been resolved. Other than that, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's just something that I haven't really realized yet. Yeah.
You mentioned a struggle through the water. Is it because it does not feel like water? What does the water look like?
Well, it's in the dream. It just kind of looks like. Just imagine like. Imagine it's like it's a sunset and everything is just kind of like colored orange. But there's no clouds. Or well, I guess there would be clouds for things to get a little orange. I guess I don't really know how it works up here. But it's just the ocean is just really stormy. It's just the waves are rough and go up and down, and it's just huge waves. And I just like it looks to like water, but it might be. Maybe it's just one of those. Maybe it's just one of those things. It's just kind of like, like a representation of something. I don't really know.
You mentioned it was very warm. How warm? I ask.
It's like
you can see in her face she's starting to sort of cotton on.
So I guess it's like, when you like take a bath and the water is like it's too hot, but you still but it's not like it is too hot to be like comfortable, but it's not hot enough for you to like you kind of just soldier through it anyway. You get like, okay, I'm just gonna like go down there anyway and just get used to it after a little while. It's that same kind of like, stinging feeling all over your body. Like it's not enough to like actually hurt you, but it's very unpleasant, and you don't really know how long you're able to how long you're gonna be able to take it, and then you feel like you're kind of on the verge of just getting back up again, but then your body like slowly adapts to the warmth and you start to like be able to handle it, but it's like that handling never happens. It's just that constant stinging feeling in your skin.
See, you watch as she kind of looks over towards one of the nearby braziers in the room that's sort of radiating this sort of warm heat. It's flickering flames in the centre. She kind of looks back to you. How do you feel when you're surrounded by flames or heat, when there is fire nearby, does it bring you comfort? Does it bring you restlessness?
I think it depends on the fire. If it's a, like, you know, skies, you know, it's gonna sound, it's gonna sound a little weird. But it kind of depends on, you know, the personality of it. But you have, like, you know, you can have a fire that's just very, like, it's nice and calm, and it's more like, you know, kind of like listening to you know, like bird chirping, and like a gentle, like, mixed with like a gentle breeze, and maybe like, you know, some running of water or whatever. And then you have the ones that are like, you know, kind of almost screaming at you, and like, you know, I guess like a bird that isn't, like, you know, very good at singing, and just kind of screams, and just is kind of like annoying. And those aren't really that pleasant, but, you know, it just really depends.
Describe fire almost as if describing individual people.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit... It is a little bit hard to properly do, but because I guess, like, you know, like a fire is very much like, it's like a fire is a very, you know, if you make a fire, like you make a campfire, it's like you kind of like see that fire kind of like live and die in, like, you have like its whole lifespan in front of you if you sit there and watch it all, I guess. And it very much just depends a bit, like, you know, kind of depends a little bit like how you raise it, I guess. Like, you know, what fuel, what food and fuel you give it, and, like, you know, how well you take care of it, and like stuff like that. It's just, it's a bit weird now that I'm listening to myself saying it, but it is, you know.
This is a non-judgmental place, Grunka.
Yeah, well,
Grunka,
you know.
am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
What I was
good
told.
Enough. Yeah, it's good enough. I understand that you're talking to me.
Do you, Grunka, feel like you have a connection with fire?
Yeah. But I honestly don't know if it's, you know, if it's a blessing or a curse.
What do you feel it is? Burden or blessing?
I don't know. It's a mixed bag, you know. Some stuff is really good, and some stuff is just, yeah, you know, I could kind of do without that. Like, I don't know. It's, you know, you ever really, like, you know, you ever thought about how when you put water on a fire to put it out, that it kind of sounds like it's screaming, you know, or, you know, fire that's like flickering in strong wind sounds like it's, like, you know, desperately holding on to life. It's just, you know, stuff like that. I kind of just wish I didn't really understood anymore. I didn't before, but I do now, and it's just, you know, you try and like shut it out and just don't really think about it too much, but, you know, sometimes it just kind of gets to you anyway. It's like if you suddenly understood like how animals, when they speak, and, you know, you just kind of understand their plights and stuff like that, even though you don't really think about it necessarily. Or if you didn't, you know, it doesn't really have any, you know, weight when you don't understand. And now I understand, and now, you know, there's a lot of weight, and I don't really like. I don't know. It's all kind of happened a little fast. I haven't really, you know, gotten used to it.
I have talked to individuals who were born with certain abilities, certain magics. Were you born with this? Was it given to you?
It was given.
By who or what? If you feel I am prying too much, then please let me know.
Grunke kind of like you know, screws a little on himself and like kind of like wiggles a bit, and it's like it's his name is, you know, it's.
I'm sorry, I did not catch that.
It's someone or something called, you know, Incendious. And you know, it's apparently something, you know, it's also something to do with, like, you know, old family history and bloodlines and stuff like that. I'm not really sure. I know too much, you know.
Incendious. That sounds like the name for a fire spirit. Is that correct?
He sure looks like it, yeah.
So how do you feel about this connection with Incendious?
I don't know. In the beginning I thought it was, you know, pretty cool, I guess. You know, it's pretty neat, made me feel special. But, you know, kind of thought about stuff, you know, old stories. Old, you know, kind of read up a little bit and just, I don't know. If it, I don't know yet. I mean, like, I haven't really, you know, I haven't really spoken to him too much. Like, I don't really know, like, you know, stuff from, like, I don't know. It's kind of like, you know, when you meet somebody, and yeah, well, you get, like, you know, you meet somebody, and you're like, you know, okay, the person didn't seem too bad, and then, like, you hear maybe from other people that, like, oh, you know, did you know that this person did that or did this, and like, oh, this thing and this thing and that thing, and you don't really know anymore, because you also don't really know anything from their side, like from their point of view, and like you only heard things from others there, and that can be twisted, and like, you know, two people never really seem to say same shape or color of stuff, and I don't know. I guess I don't really know how. I just really know anything about him, and like, you know, because of that, I feel like I can't really put like a proper, you know, finger on him and know like what I think of him, because I don't really know what to think of him, because I just don't know him.
You say you've never talked to him before.
Well, I mean, you know, he did most of the talking, but you know, I have talked a bit to him before. It's not like, you know, I haven't necessarily had like, you know, a conversation like this, but you know, we have spoken.
You tried having a conversation with him?
No, I haven't really, you know, haven't really been the time, or I haven't really been, you know, physically able to, or He always been, you know, one of those spells where, you know, the answers and questions are just limited, and, you know, stuff like that. So no, I haven't.
These dreams that you have been having, this lake of orange hot water, do you think that it might have a connection with this Incendrious character?
I don't know. Thing is that I think I've had them before. Like before I'm, you know, got introduced. But I don't really remember all too much about that. I just, you know, the first time I remember having it, I felt that, oh, it's this again, even though I never had it. It just felt familiar. But I don't know, I'm not really, you know, I'm not a big thinker.
Do you feel afraid or excited or something else when you have these dreams?
It's a bit... It's a bit hard to describe, like, I don't know, it's pretty hard to describe a feeling, but when I'm standing there, like up on the cliff, and I'm looking down at like this rough raging sea, and I just, you know, that feeling of, you know, that impulse of jumping, it does, you know, it does come with a jolt of excitement, but then as soon as you're submerged, it's just kind of like panic. But my old teacher kind of taught me to kind of work through that, and I think that's the reason why I always make it back to the cliff in my dreams. It's because I know how to swim, if you know, so to say. But I felt like if I didn't, you know, if he never taught me, then I probably would have drowned, and then I don't really know what would have happened. What happens if you drown in a dream? I don't know, some stuff I never really want to think about.
I think so yourself for a moment. How much are you willing to tell me about this Incendrious entity?
I mean, I guess as much as I know, I don't really know too much about him. I did learn a bit about him, like back, you know, on our way here. We kind of like, you know, went past the library by the sea.
Library of Quetzali.
Yeah, that one. Quit. Yeah, that one. So, you know, I kind of learned a little bit about him there, and it was mainly, you know, old historian stuff. Like, you know, he was apparently, you know, pretty important person, like way back when you know, when elemental powers were more, you know, in the world and stuff like that. And you know, Grunker kind of glances down at his axe, It's
Oh, if you've got the axe displayed.
well, it's not necessarily displayed, but he has it like kind of on his hip, I guess.
Okay.
So he just kind of like lances down to it, and I don't know. You just kind of learn a thing or two. Still history-wise, but nothing about him. Just kind of what he did and what he didn't, and, things like that.
She kind of, her eyes sort of linger on that axe by your side. And actually, I'm going to have a roll this again. Does this Cendrius have anything to do with that axe?
Yeah. It was, I guess it's kind of part of this, whole thing we have, I guess. Just, it's kind of part of the, the connection. I think. Well, I guess it's, technically it's this little, this gem here, but it's kind of connected to the axe and stuff. So, without the gem, it's just kind of like an axe, but with it in there, it's more it's my axe.
She kind of leans back for a moment and sort of steeples her hand in deep thought. From the moment you entered my den, I admit I could feel some great elemental power coming from you. And that gave me pause. I wanted to make sure before progressing. From what you described, I believe that your dreams might be connected with this presence, this presence of Incendrius within you. It might be causing some element of vivid and intense dreams. Perhaps as well this connection that you seem to have with fire.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's I guess it's kind of important, but I have sometimes, woken up and, things have kind of been on fire around me, or mostly.
Oh.
Yeah. It hasn't happened, often. It happened like, one big time, I guess. It's kind of like, over in, I don't remember what the name was. It's, so it's a dwarf town on the other side of the bog. But, it was kind of like after a battle that we had, kind of like not really a siege, but, it was an attack of the place by some goblins. And, after that, kind of had a weird dream about, like, it was mainly just, it was a dream about, like, like, at first it felt like it was just kind of like, like, if you do something that's like, you either like, you do something that's like, have like, it's a big thing, I guess. And then, you kind of had dreams about it, like kind of reliving it, I guess. Both good and bad stuff. But, it kind of felt like it was just kind of like, oh, I just like dreaming about that thing I just did, this big battle that we just had. And, but then, things started to change a little bit. Felt like, I was kind of You know, at first it was like, you know, me, but then it kind of like drifted apart, and it felt like I was looking at me, and it was, you know, kind of like watching myself, you know, kind of slipping, you know, kind of being dragged under the ocean in, like, you know, in an undertow or something, and it felt like, you know, I was kind of drowning a bit. But
it's at that you notice, as you're mentioning this situation here, that her eyes are sort of in deep thought. There's that hint of not recognition, but you understand she's making some sort of connection here.
And you know, and then, you know, there was just suddenly just like, you know, just a lot of fire, laughter and fire, and or, you know, kind of crazed laughter. And
As if
I think I was just, you know,
as if you,
like I was, yeah, well,
it seems like you may have been embodying the spirit of Incendiaries there.
oh, I don't really know how that works, but I mean, like, maybe. I don't really know how okay.
What did you feel during this battle in your dream?
Ruga kind of like twists a little, you know, a little bit embarrassed, I guess, a little bit ashamed. I just, you know, felt good, joyous, you know, was laughing, but I don't know, it was weird because I was like, it was both me, but it also wasn't me, because it felt like it was me, but it also felt like I was watching, like, from outside at me. So it was me, but also not me. It's like, you know, it's like watching yourself in like a mirror, but the mirror is like backwards.
This sheds light on a lot of what I have been thinking about during this conversation. It's important to note that the destructive tendencies of fire spirits may not serve you well, so it is up to you to decide whether or not to fully embrace this influence or try to control it and use it to your advantage.
Well, if it's one thing I know, it's that even, like, you know, even the tiniest little fire the tiniest little flame, if you leave it unchecked and, like, you know, uncontrolled, it can burn down the world.
Indeed.
So
I
think that's very important. But and I've been trying, but, you know, it's, you know, when you're in the moment and you're just kind of like part of it all, it's hard to do it. Because I'm also just not, you know, he kind of tapped his head. It's not, you know, the strongest up here, but I try.
And that's all that you can do. I would indeed suggest that perhaps focusing and honing your control over this element of fire, as well as your what seems to be some sort of connection to this axe, perhaps meditate on it.
Meditate?
Yes, just practice some breathing exercises every now and then. Perhaps seek out some more information on this spirit and its relationship with this weapon.
Okay.
We might be.
Maybe I can, yeah, maybe I can see if I can talk to Mom, if I can get a hold of her.
I can help as well.
Yeah. You know, I did speak to her, you know. You know, it's not that easy seeing how she's, you know, dead. But, I did speak to her, like, once before.
And
When
how?
I was kinda, it was kinda like, you know, I think it was the first time I met this Andreas too. Cause I don't really want to, you know, get into it too much, but it's kind of like,
of course.
it's kind of like a religious thing, like, I don't know, this is all part of like our religion and all that stuff, and I'm not really, you know, that well versed into it, and I really should, but, you know, I never really listened, and the stuff I listened to I just kind of forgot. So, you know, and, you know, I don't really have anyone here that I can really talk to about it, because, you know, nobody here has that, so I just have to, like, I don't know, I just kind of have to make, kind of like, you know, if we do what feels right, I guess.
Yes, to many, understandably, this could be seen as a heavy burden to bear.
It wasn't really something I was planning on bearing, but, you know, it's kind of there now. So I just kind of have to, you know, adapt, I guess. But yeah, yeah, I gotta see if I can talk to Mom again, which is, you know, it's hard to get into contact with her, you know. I don't really know how. I'm not really, you know, a magic user, or like, you know, someone who deals with, you know, dead people.
Angus, do you want to chime in then? Or are you muted?
Oh, I'd say it in text before I jump in. If we're still awake,
Yep.
Angus would sort of, hearing how important this is.
Your mic is a little
Hearing
quiet.
Oh, a little quiet. I need to pull a little closer. There we go. Is this better?
Yeah.
Sorry, I think it's a wire issue. Hearing how important this is, he'll sort of, I'm guessing we're kind of sitting or laying back, right?
Mm-hmm.
He'll sort of reach a hand out in that direction and just kind of do a little wave in the air. It's just like, you know, I can help you with that. If you want, I didn't know you want to, but if you want to, I can help you talk to her and ask questions. And
yeah, we could try.
I'd be very happy to.
Yeah, I haven't really, you know, maybe wanted to before, but also kind of have, like, I don't know, it's just, you know, it's something you kind of feel like maybe it's best to leave the past in the past, but sometimes, you know, the past hold the answers, so you kind of gotta look in the past, and, you know, I don't know, maybe I just gotta look in the past a bit more. I think past a lot. This is annoying.
Can I say one more thing on that?
Yeah, as long as you don't say the word past.
I won't. But what I will say is, if you remember in the bog, well, my parents, they moved on.
Okay.
And I didn't get the chance to say goodbye or really think about it and talk about it.
Yeah.
And then they came back and I had to look at it at the time when I wasn't ready. It might be best to gather your strength and face that part of your history when you want to and are able, otherwise it will sneak up on you when you're not. And you have friends and we'll help you through that, so...
Yeah.
You know, I work with ancestors, not just mine, and I'll help you. So just reach out, okay?
Okay.
There are not many people that come to me who have this close of this close-knit friend group. It'd be wise to be grateful, and
yeah, we've been through a lot.
Indeed. I would also perhaps try to balance the influence of this spirit within you and your own individuality. You are still your own person, with your own values and beliefs. By acknowledging and embracing your own identity, you might be able to better navigate the influence of this entity and use it in the way that is beneficial.
Yeah.
I have some experience with speaking to the natural spirits, elemental ones included, so I am here to support you.
Okay. I think I have an idea of stuff to do.
That is good. So, I believe we have a good starting point here.
Yeah. Oh, I also never actually knew my dad. Is that something that's important?
Would you like to talk about it?
I mean, there's not really much to talk about. I know I had a dad. I never, I don't have no memory of having a dad. And he was apparently a big shot, I guess. And, I just kind of didn't really know anything about him. And I don't know. Maybe I should just ask Mom about it now that I think about it. She should know.
You could. But if you wish to talk about your father here with me, then I can do that as well.
Well, I mean, again, there's not really much to talk about. Like, I kind of knew I kind of got to learn his name a couple of months ago. So it's not like, I don't really feel like I have much of a connection to him. So I don't even know what he looks like or, anything really.
Would you wish to seek out a connection with him like you do with the spirit of your mother?
I don't know if it's really gonna be that easy, but I think it's just, I don't know, I gotta talk to Mom about it. She was much better with this kind of stuff, And I mean, I don't know, maybe she's like, if she's dead and she can talk to me, maybe she can just kind of drag Dad into there and just kind of here's your son that you never raised and, knew. I mean, he probably never raised me because he died, but, what I know. I don't know. I don't really know anything about him. Rant over.
It is hard not knowing one's father. I have had a few clients spoken to me about that very same issue. It's also an issue that is personal to me, so I can. Perhaps I might understand how you're feeling.
Okay.
Again, if you ever wish to speak about how you feel about your father, then you have friends and you have resources that can be made available to you.
Yeah.
But I believe we have a good starting point here for all of you. Kind of rubs her hands together for a moment. It sort of gestures towards the bowl filled with this blend of mysterious herbs and spices. This is a blend of dream thistle and ladyroot, gathered from my home grove. It's a potent concoction. Has the power to unlock the secrets of the mind, help you see in the world in new and wondrous ways. Are we ready to begin?
Yeah.
Very well. And with a small flicker of firelight from her fingertip, Thalendra touches the mixture in the bowl and it begins to burn slowly, producing flickering embers like a sort of a dying campfire. And this faint plume of emerald smoke rises from it. Now, before you all delve into your dreams, remember what I said? Let's practice some deep breathing techniques. And lay on your backs, focus only on your breathing. Minerva takes a deep breath in through her nose, out through her mouth, demonstrating the technique. She encourages you all to follow her lead, inhaling, exhaling in this slow, rhythmic pattern. In and out. In and out. Continues, her voice calming, soothing. As you focus on your breathing, you feel yourselves relaxing into this trance-like state. Darkness. You feel yourselves falling. Vertigo, dizziness take over. Dejal, shall we start with you?
Okay.
You shift uncomfortably in your sleep. Your body writhing. Beads of sweat from your brow. The heat seems to grow unbearable. And as you try to shake off the haze from your dreams, you suddenly feel yourself jolt awake, gasping for air. Oh, hang on. It's not. Oh no, it's not working. Give me a sec.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, right, hang on. The crash, that's why. Timescape's crashed.
Am I supposed to see a gray background? Because I can't see.
Yes,
Wow.
yes you are.
Okay.
Is everyone here in Timescape?
Let's see. Yes.
Okay.
I'm hearing them.
Deja, you find yourself in the middle of a vast desert. Surrounded by an otherworldly landscape. It seems to go on for miles. The sickly yellow sand stretches out as far as the eye can see, interrupted only by the occasional rocky outcropping. But the most striking feature of the desert is the sulphur fumes that hang heavily in the air, creating a noxious atmosphere that's choking you with every breath. You're forced to cover your mouth lest you breathe in the poisonous air. As you try to get your bearings, you realise the visibility is limited. The sandstorm is raging all around you. The winds whip the sand around, stinging your eyes and obscuring your vision. You can barely see your hand in front of your face. The distant light of the sun is choked out by the sandstorm and fumes, creating this eerie twilight that makes it difficult to see where you slither. What do you do?
Where the sun was last seen, I'm gonna try and slither in that direction.
Alright. Despite the scorching heat, you kind of stumble around and slither in the sand, desperately trying to find your way through the storm. Your tail sinks into the shifting sands with every movement, making it this constant struggle to keep moving forward. Sulphur fumes stinging your nostrils burn your throat, making it difficult to breathe. You feel as though you're suffocating. You're lost. The desert seems endless. I have no idea how you got here, how to get out. This weight of the situation presses down upon you. A sense of dread looms. You look up, you see those rays of sunlight in the distant horizon attempting to pry their way in vain through this sulphurous haze and the roiling sandstorm. Closer and closer you attempt to weave your way through the noxious yellow gases and sands. Further and further away the sun seems to veer, choked further and further by the muddy fog. To journey across this vast desert, your heart beats heavy with exhaustion, and every weave of your tail feels like a Herculean effort. It aches, feels like it's made of lead, like you're dragging your own weight twice over. The burden of your journey is weighing heavily upon your soul. And it's at that point you feel this strange sensation around your tail, like something is pulling it taut.
Fuck. He's gonna turn around and look.
Looking down, you see that the granules of sand have congealed around your tail, forming this vague shape of shackles, which seems to merge into a pair of arms as they reach up from the sand.
With my dagger, I'm trying to cut them away.
Alright, you try to cut away at the sand, so go ahead and just make me, like, I'll say a melee attack roll.
Okay. I'll use this here.
14. You slash and slash, but to very little avail. And you can see as you're kind of pulling further and further, trying to just pull away from these shackles, you can see what looks like coming from the sands, being pulled by your tail, an older Naga, reminiscent of a python, with this grim expression etched upon his face. He wears a hood. There's something unsettling about him, as though you should know him from somewhere.
I want to glare back at him, but I just stare. Who are you?
There's just no response. The Naga just tries to pull the chains taut.
Hack the chains again.
Alright, go ahead and roll another attack. 9. Once more you slash at these chains, but they become hardened like rock. And as you're sort of desperate to break free, the more you struggle, the tighter they seem to become, until they're cutting into your flesh. The Naga just watches you impassively. And as you kind of study his face, you can see, rather you feel that strange sensation of deja vu, as though you've met him before. But again, you can't quite place when or where. And there's this stinging sensation upon your forehead, your brow, which diverts those thoughts. Make another attack roll against the chains. 21. You focus on breaking free from the shackles, but with one slash, you dash aside the chains without effort. Just as the sand and the form just scatters to the wind.
If there's any more chains, then we can continue attacking them so I can keep moving forward.
Approximately 60 feet or more, and you once again feel your tail catch against something as you continue slithering through the desert. Chains have reappeared. You're creeping up on your tail and weighing you down like an anchor. You see another face, another pair of arms. An older Naga woman this time. She bears a striking resemblance to you, but only vaguely. Her features bear the resemblance to a cobra. She's short for her stature. You can... Again, you feel like you should be sensing warmth from her, but her gaze is empty and sad. Her arms bound to the chains that pull taut once more around your tail. Again, that sense of familiarity that should not be. Make another attack roll.
Yep.
Skips off the sand. And each time you attempt to struggle, more chains congeal. This time, wrapped tighter and tighter until it feels like you can barely move. You can feel more figures pulling against the chains, attempting to drag you into the depths of the dunes. Another older female Naga who bears a slight resemblance to the previous one, but she has sharper features and has aged gracefully, you could say. And once more, this figure feels familiar. As these two figures are sort of pulling taut against your tail, against your body. What do you do?
As she's going to attempt to slash again, she's going to ask, even louder this time, who are you? What do you want?
There is silence from the figures.
Yeah.
Make another attack roll. I'll say 2 attack rolls this time. One for the first, second for the other.
Yep. 6 and 19.
Okay, 6 and 19. So, the first one is shattered. The first female Naga kind of the sand scatters to the wind, but the second female Naga is just clawing at you with the chains kind of wrapped tightly around your legs, and another figure emerges this time. She's a demoness with short horns like that of a goat's. This one's very familiar to you. This is Jasmine.
He bears not to look at her. He's going to just try and attack the chains holding her blindly.
Alright, make one more attack roll. 22. Shh! The sand. Dust is just dust to the wind now. But that last female Naga is struggling against you. But it's... the chains themselves feel like they're multiplying faster than you can break them, threatening to halt your journey altogether.
She's going to look at this Naga dead in her eyes. And if she has to go without her hand, she's going to do this. She's not going to be stopped.
As you kind of raise your dagger in the air. A voice permeates throughout the raging storm.
How many more chains will we bind to ourselves?
Richard just looks. What?
The weight they bear is a mark of self-destruction. These chains are of our own making.
You notice an odd phenomenon amidst the chaos. The grains of sand of the storm batter against something that seems invisible, creating a void in the shape of a figure about 30 feet away from you. It's as if it's as if the sand is dancing with a ghost, creating this macabre, strikingly familiar silhouette that, even at a distance, seems to loom over you. The more you stare at this negative space, the more it seems to take on a life of its own, pulsing with this ominous energy. You can't shake off the feeling that this figure's watching you, waiting for you to make a move.
He is silent. As her dagger just hangs there limply. Sacrifices must be made, right?
The silhouette seems to tilt its head curiously. Vanishes. The chains grow tighter. The voice emanates from behind you now.
We wallow to ourselves and to others about these chains of tragedy, when we are the only ones that can break them.
She's silent again, her eyes racing.
We doubt ourselves. We shroud ourselves in sorrow, darkness and guilt that drives us to senseless martyrdom, when we have still much to do, much to fix.
But every time we fix something, there's just more piling up.
Perhaps this self-sacrifice is a selfish vanity to atone for our sins. We flagellate ourselves only to do nothing to atone for those whom we've wronged. Are we that powerless?
No.
We have the power. We have the power to conjure the arcane from nothing, create flames from nothing, and transform into the strongest beasts the world has seen. Yet we haven't the power to fix what we've done. Does power not define us?
power is the byproduct.
What we do with our power, yes, that is who we are.
If that was so, I would be stuck at the manor.
As the silhouette fades into the sandstorm, the grains of sand thrash around violently, filling the negative space where the figure once stood. The chains, once vague and insubstantial, have now tightened around your tail, as if the sandstorm has given them strength. A foul stench assails your nostrils as sulphurous fumes billow around you, casting a sickly yellow fog that envelops everything in its path. Amidst the choking haze, the negative space created by the sandstorm seems to be staring back at you again. A void that seems to be just inches away from your face. The chains tighten their grip around your tail each passing moment.
But do you know who we are?
Do I?
Do we respect those who know who they are? Who they don't?
Sorry, hang on. 1 second.
It's fine.
Sorry.
Do we respect those who know who they are and don't pretend otherwise?
We do, victim.
Then who are you?
A protector and a seeker.
To stare into the negative space where the figure was, this billowing darkness rises from it. It engulfs everything around it, swallowing the sandstorm, casting a shadow around the desert. Sickly yellow sands and sulphur fumes are muted by blackness, like a shroud thrown over the world. Darkness billows and swirls as if it has a will of its own.
We say we must balance the light and the dark. Who will we be in the darkness? Will we be wise? Will we be strong? A coward or a hero? Who will we be in the dark when none but us can see?
To be a hero that I wanted but could never have.
The figure itself seems to tilt its head. The vague outline of the shape that you can see within the darkness.
We say as much. But do we trust ourselves to live by those words?
The fact that I'm living now should be proof enough for that.
The darkness swirls around you like this malevolent force, clings to you like a second skin, suffocating light and warmth. Sun's rays, once a comforting presence, are now a fading memory, slipping through your grasp like sand in the wind. Shadows grow longer, their fingers creeping up your tail like a grasping hand, consuming you in this shroud of impenetrable darkness. The only beacon of light, this all-consuming void, is this the feeble rays of sunlight struggling to pierce the veil.
Will we be a redeeming hand given, or a miser's clutching grasp? The darkness will only remember one. It is here the choice matters most. So I ask us again, who will we be? Who will you stand with, Dejar?
Stand with my friends.
To that point, you...
What?
Oh. Go ahead.
He pauses for a long time and says, I stare into the darkness long enough. I will find the light. Because there can't be any darkness without an absent to it. Like a shade at noon. Do your worst. I'll still be here.
Make me a wisdom saving throw with advantage.
Alt is with advantage, right?
Yes. Do you have inspiration as well?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not showing on my sheet.
Those chains broken plus. You call upon a strength and willpower that feels alien to you. Focusing your energy on your tail, with a mighty heave, you wrench it free from the sand, shattering the chains that congeal around it. You reach into the burning sand, tear free the last remnants of the chains, and you find, instead, something long and metallic.
I pull it free.
You hold the solar staff tightly, pulling it free from the sand. You feel its power course through the body as the golden light glimmers on its surface. Darkness quivers and breaks like shattered glass. The staff itself ignites with a supernatural energy that radiates outward, pushing back against this suffocating darkness and swirling sands. The staff itself becoming this extension of your will. And its warmth spreads across your body, infusing you with... Best way I can describe it, it's courage and strength. You stand firm with the solar staff in hand. The darkness is forced to retreat, bowing to the light. As the clouds begin to part, a glimmer of light breaks through the darkness and illuminates the desert. The golden rays of the sun pour down like a waterfall, warming your skin and filling you with this sense of renewed hope. Previously hostile and barren landscape transforms before your very eyes, become this place of warmth and light, and life as our Shum's light shines down upon it. As the sandstorm subsides, the negative space of the figure once filled in the sandstorm instead becomes filled by this scintillating, radiant figure. More of them appear. First, second, third, 20, 30. One is incredibly tall. These other figures surrounding you. One is incredibly tall with these large, curled horns, wielding a shield. One of them is a figure wielding a long rifle. One is a shorter figure with long ears and a large axe. A stout figure wielding a runic hammer. Stood next to you is a figure wielding a blade of light, just as bright as your staff. The sand seems to come to life once more. Where you feared chains to coalesce from, it instead emerges these figures sculpted one by one, as if the desert were a canvas being painted by the sun. Stand tall and proud, blades shining with the sun's radiance, almost as if they're born from the sand itself, like a phoenix reborn from its ashes. You see 10 emerge at once, and 20, then 40. They stand to attention as one. Bathed in the light of the sun, your vision goes white. Vellum. Vellum, vellum, vellum. You grow cold as the warmth of the brazier leaves you. You find yourself falling, 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 and then you feel the sudden impact of cold, hard, slightly damp stone. You hear the metallic tink of your broken sunblade skipping across the stone floor. I've got to read this fucking soundscape again, don't I? Velma, you are muted, by the way.
I know. I'm here. I'm just waiting for my turn for trauma.
As your eyes shoot open, you find yourself lying on a stone slab. You're surrounded in darkness. The only light is the sunlight beaming from your sunblade about 50 feet away from you. The light reveals that you're surrounded by the massive pillars of an enormous chamber. Pillars rise up into darkness above, towering above you like a forest of stone trees. Pillars are adorned with intricate carvings. You can see statuesque figures of dwarven warriors there, stoic and grim faces frozen in stone. The ceiling of the chamber is so high that it's lost into darkness. The air is thick with an ominous silence, broken only by the distant drops of water, the mournful whispers of cold wind. The hairs on the back of your neck stand on end as you realise where you are. The labyrinthine undercity of Mortholm. place you'd hoped you'd never see again. What do you do?
Question first and foremost. Is this lucid, or am I believing that I am just there with no context of anything before I went to sleep?
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Bup, bup, bup.
21. This appears to be some sort of lucid dream.
Okay. At first, there's heavy breathing, just the moments of panic, seeing the darkness around, the realization of where he is. But even as the discovered knowledge of what this is sets in, it's still impossible for him to shake that fear, that panic. His first actions would be just to try and get up from the slab, to move.
Get to your feet, your heart racing with there's that, despite knowing that this is a dream, there's that fight or flight reflex, and that surge of adrenaline, that fear and uncertainty. As you kind of look around, you notice that the stone slab beneath you is not just any slab, but this grand altar adorned with intricate carvings of what look like, what you can see in the dim light here, blood sacrifices. And you notice offerings around the altar, shimmering in the faint light of your sunblade, golden goblets and gem-encrusted weapons littering the floor, trappings of those who've sought to appease dark powers that reign over this cursed city.
Deep breath. This is a dream. This is a dream. You're not back. He sort of repeats similar phrasing as he makes his way over to the only real source of light and hope in the room. He makes for the sunblade.
You make your way over to the sunblade, grasp it tightly, and the light from the blade flickers and dims, its warmth ebbing away.
It's just a dream. Just a dream. Just a dream. Then his grip tightens around the blade, holding it as close as he can.
What do you do?
Well, with the ebbing light and the uncertainty of if it will even hold out, because he's never seen it behave this way, so it's definitely causing some jolts of panic. He just wants to get as far away from where he woke up as possible, so he just starts moving, working through the dark as best he can with what light he has.
So you make your way through the chamber, step after step after step. You know, so your feet are unintentionally occasionally sort of dislodging several loose rocks that sort of clatter noisily around the ground. When you glance around, you see what look like the remnants of the past scattered around you. A humanoid skull, broken femur, cracked bone rib. Moving ahead with this dimming sunblade. The light highlights something that kind of stops your heart for a moment. A fractured jawbone with two small tusks protruding from it.
Sorry, there's he's just stunned. There's no response. His body does lock up for a moment, and attempts to sort of force it to move once more. Just a dream.
Half-breed.
There's a tension, just complete rigidness.
Make a wisdom saving throw with disadvantage.
Oh boy, there's that trigger.
Your gaze kind of shifts around the chamber. Your eyes catch the sight of a colossal, sinewy form undulating and weaving between two of the towering pillars. Creature's movements are fluid and graceful, yet there's something unsettling about the way it moves. And as quickly as it appeared, the massive shape slips back into obscurity of the chamber's shadows before the light of the blade can reveal it. The light of your sunblade wanes, leaving you more vulnerable to the looming darkness. Make a perception check.
Okay. The 16s are strong today.
Yes. You hear the sound of scraping claws against the stone, echoing through the chamber. It sends shivers down your spine. You try to identify the source of the sound. You catch a glimpse of movement out of the corner of your eye, but when you turn to look, there's nothing there but shadows.
Recognizing likely what it is, given the lucidness of the dream. Still clutching the sunblade as best he can. He tries to just will his body to keep moving despite that.
Alright.
You're gone. Gone. Not. You aren't real.
Half-breed.
Make another wisdom saving throw with disadvantage. 20. The radiance of your sunblade does not diminish this time. But there is that sense of dread that grips you tightly, as if warning you of impending danger.
Tension is still there, but he'd like to think he's ready to face whatever comes out, but part of it knows what it is and is uncertain of if he can. But he forges on as best he can. There's no knowing when the light will give. If and when it does, then he may not be able to find a path out.
As you continue to explore this chamber, your attention is once again. Actually, make me a perception check for this. 14. Your attention is caught by this brief sudden movement out of the corner of your eye. You kind of whip your head around, but again it just disappears into the darkness before you can be certain of what you saw. And there's that unsettling feeling that lingers in the pit of your stomach. Another wisdom save with disadvantage, please. With a 9, the vibrant radiance of your sunblade begins to twist and contort, dwindling with each passing moment. The comforting warmth that once emanated from it has vanished, leaving behind a cold, burning sensation that seeps into your bones. And as the blade's light fades, it crackles with this otherworldly flame, transforming into an eerie blue hue. And you can no longer recognize it as the familiar sunblade. It's become something else entirely, something unsettling.
I do have a question.
Yes.
I know this is a dream sequence, but would I have access to my class features?
Sure.
Because I would like to Indomitable that, if possible.
Okay.
It allows me to re-roll a save.
Alright, go ahead and... Yep, you can go ahead and use your Indomitable. Just re-roll again, re-roll Wisdom save with disadvantage.
Sixteens! Fucking 16s, man.
So the DC did increase with each failed save, so...
It's better than a 9.
Just narrowly failed that, unfortunately. DC
you know,
was 17. It was a good shot. It was a good shot.
As the daylight fades from the blade, just his heart drops into his stomach, and as it changes to the sickly blue, the sickly hue that he recognizes all too well, his eyes go wide and his hands shake. Just a dream. But he's frozen at the moment.
You hear. And you feel a sudden disturbance in the air as something colossal lands with a resounding thud before you. The impact sends a shockwave through the ground, and a storm of shadows whips around you, carrying a tide of dark magic. Amidst the chaos, you could catch a glimpse of 2 piercing green eyes that seem to bore into your soul from above. Suddenly, a gaping maw filled with razor-sharp teeth opens wide, and eerie, sickly green light wells up in the back of this thing's throat. Make another wisdom save with disadvantage this time.
I like how you say this time.
Yeah.
Bit of disadvantage the entire dream.
22.
But apparently rolling like a fucking god.
Wow, okay.
Double 16s, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just 16s and
It's
16s.
either a roll of 16 or a number of 16 by the end. 16s everywhere.
As you stand your ground. Did you mention you still have the sunblade?
Still holding it.
Okay.
But he was too frozen to do anything with it.
Alright. Okay. Go ahead and... make me a... This would be a Constitution saving throw. (27). Oh wait, no, sorry, no, not Constitution, Dexterity. So that'd be
same. Would be the same.
Okay. As this massive burbling light wells up in the back of this creature's throat. This surge of darkness, or this massive storm that seems to surround this figure, wells up around you, and you can feel yourself withering, but you manage to sort of dodge out of the way quickly enough. Whereas well, this is clearly a dream sequence, so it doesn't deal damage to you. You do manage to sort of dodge out of the way as this massive creature leers down upon you, and goes in for some sort of bite attack.
Game Master privately rolled some dice is always a concerning phrase to say. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I was going to ask if, like, because this is a dream sequence, if I'm without armor, but a 31, it wouldn't really matter.
Okay. I'll say
I could be Liska and probably still get hit by that.
I'll say instead of dealing damage again, dream sequence, go ahead and make me another wisdom saving throw with the. I'll say with disadvantage because it rolled a nat 20.
Oh god, I did. Well.
Oof, okay.
Oh no, the 16s are losing their grip. It's slowly creeping down.
Your mind is consumed by an instinctual urge, fight or flight, and in this moment, flight is the only option.
So Velen does best flee.
All right. You hear from behind you as you're beginning to flee. And
no.
And you just begin booking it through the halls. You spin in your heels and bolt through the chamber. Bones cracking. And hang on, where's that?
Okay, take
yeah, there we go. Bones cracking and scattering beneath your feet. The ground is slick with moisture, treacherous and unforgiving. But your muscles tense and your body is taut as you push yourself to your limits. The scraping of claws on the stone echoes through the air. And you hear the spread of wings followed by this deafening beastly roar. The storm of shadow rages behind you, whipping at your heels like this merciless predator chasing its prey. You run, driven by this primal desire for survival, and each fibre of your being just screaming out for you to go faster, to outpace this relentless darkness that threatens to swallow you whole. But without the sunlight of the sunblade to light your path, you're relying solely on your dark vision and the dim light being emanated by this corrupted mockery of a sunblade. The darkness itself seems to seep into your very being. The shapes of the pillars and the altar, nothing more than monochromatic blurs in your haze as you rush past. Your fear feels primal and instinctual, as if you're this small, helpless creature in the midst of this predator's lair. And you come to what looks like a sudden stop at the path ahead, which seems to end abruptly in this wall of solid stone.
Still driven by that instinct, the fear. He almost runs directly into it, but as he arrives to it, he starts beating on it with the hilt of this eruptive weapon. You just try as if you're trying to just break through it.
Yeah. You bash against the wall with all of your might. Again, that primal welling urge to just survive. And as you kind of try to look back to see what the current situation is, you kind of pivot on your heel. This sudden impact slams into you like a battering ram, sending you up against the wall. The breath is forced out of your lungs and you're momentarily distorted, but as you regain your bearings, you find yourself staring into the a pair of striking green eyes ablaze with an overwhelming sort of otherworldly intensity, and the hands of a figure, not claws this time, their hands, lithe and feminine, are sort of wrapped around your neck, choking the air out of your lungs as this tempest of dark magic whips around her, long hair writhing like a nest of snakes in the wind. And you can feel her breath on your face, lips curled into this wicked smile as she tightens her grip. Make another wisdom saving throw with disadvantage, please.
Lord the 9. So his normal reflex of trying to keep calm, he wants to take deep breaths, but there is none. There's no air left. It was already knocked out of him, and now any means to get new ones is blocked, and he just panics.
Right. As you're going to stand there, you hear this haunting melody carried on the wind, a chorus of disembodied voices that seem to overlap and intertwine with each other. The voices are soft, almost like whispers, but they carry the weight of emotion that sends a chill down your spine. You strain to hear the words. You half-breed. You strain your eyes to peer through the thick storm of shadow kind of surrounding you. And amidst the darkness, a small flickering light catches your attention. It's coming from your amulet. A tiny ember of sunlight, barely larger than a pinprick. Make a wisdom saving throw. Not with disadvantage this time. Your eyesight is slowly overtaken by the veil of obscurity, as if a thick dark blanket smothering your face. The grip around your neck it's like this unyielding vice, pressing tighter and tighter with each passing second, leaving you gasping for air. Her nails dig deep into your flesh, drawing blood as it seeps out out of you like water from a broken dam. You can feel yourself slipping away, the tenuous hold of your consciousness waning, like a candle flickering in the wind. What are you doing?
In his panicked flailing and grasping, until this point he'd been gripping at her wrist, trying to maybe wrench it free, to little to no effect, and doing his best to hold out. His hand drifts to his amulet and just clutches it as tight as he can.
Okay.
All thought of this being a dream has long since faded. The just fear of it all is washed out away.
You clutch the warmth of the amulet in your hand. Okay, that's plus 1 failure. That situation. Alright, as you clutch that in your hand, I need you to make another wisdom saving throw. Again, the clutch of your hand of her hands is starting to tighten around your neck.
Come on, game. You're screwing me here.
As you struggle against her grip, you can sense her gathering strength. Despite the storm of shadows being held at bay, it refuses to relent, as if fueled by her very presence. With each passing moment, you feel her power surging forward, pushing against every effort of you to sort of strain against her. It's like trying to run through quicksand, and you fear you'll never break free. What do you do?
At this point, he's running on panic and instinct, and while one hand clutches the blade, every other extremity is flailing and striking as much as he can. But
striking at the figure?
Yes, striking at the figure if he's able, because
Okay.
there's just
There's
not a lot of oxygen to work with. So
yeah. I'll say just go ahead and make me an athletics check to try and break away her hands. 23. Okay. You feel the strength of the humanoid figure weakening in your grasp as the murderous glint in her eyes gives way to a sense of panic. The light from her amulet swells in your grasp, driving back the darkness that surrounds you. You can see the beams of light piercing out from between your fingers. Mortithax, the tormentor of Mortholm, as the darkness is peeled back away from her, is revealed in her human form, grimacing, stumbling as she struggles against the power of that light. Make one more. I'll say make a wisdom saving throw with advantage here.
Oh, I think we're lagging a moment.
Oh, 13.
Oh dear.
Oh, God, come on, give this guy a
I'm
break.
trying, man. Really am. The rolls. Oh, wisdom's my okay stat.
The darkness itself threatens to veil her once more. You can sense this is starting to become a struggle. You've gained ground as you're kind of separating her hands from around your neck, clawing at her hands, digging your nails into hers, into her skin now. But you've gained ground here.
Is it enough to be able to breathe?
Yes.
As he finally wrenches enough space from between her hand and his neck, he just lets out a gasp.
What do you want from me? I wasn't the only one. Did you in? Why me? Just leave me alone.
So you clutch onto her hands. With that, make me another athletics check with advantage here.
Nope.
Okay.
The mind is weak, but the flesh is willing, apparently.
Apparently so. Okay. With a final wrench of your hands, you break her hands free from your neck and are wrenching them back. Her hands release your neck and she collapses to her knees as the light that's been evenly struggling against the dark now overwhelms the storm. And the storm itself dissipates the chamber, flooded with sunlight. She falls to her knees and crawls away from you. You can see that she's no longer that powerful being she once was. And for the first time, she appears vulnerable and fearful, a mere shell of her former self. Crawls away from you. Slumps up against a nearby pillar. Tear rolling down her face as you stand there in the aftermath of this struggle.
And takes a moment, several deep breaths, collecting himself, and he steps forward, closer and closer.
She's kind of backing away. You can see the frustration etched on Mortithax's face is palpable. Her eyes flashing with a mixture of anger and fear. She knows she's backed into a corner, and her defeat is all but certain. And she's like a wounded animal, ready to strike at any moment. But she's holding back.
He stops, not getting too close. And again, just through all the muddled mess of fear that's in his mind right now, one question still burns.
Why me?
She's silent. She struggles to look you in the eyes.
He goes louder this time, echoing a bit likely from the volume.
Why me?
She bares her teeth. Make a perception check. With the bright light, with the shining beams of sunlight here, I'll say with advantage. Alright. You can see in her arms and kind of in cloak, you can see her arms and cloak coiled around the telltale, scintillating dark scales of a strikingly familiar large ovoid object. And she goes to speak. But you strain to hear her words. They're muffled and distorted, like the voice of someone speaking through water. Suddenly your vision blurs and everything begins to turn white. Brunka.
Oh no.
Indeed.
It's your turn, buddy.
Oh boy.
Probably advise everyone to turn up the soundscape a little bit. So, Brunka, you are drawn to that brazier. The heat emanating from it, seeping into your very being. The flickering flames before you like a mesmerizing dance, hypnotizing you with their beauty. And you can hear them, the flames. They give voice to primal force, creating intricate patterns of light and shadow, casting them on the walls around you. The crackling of the flames is the only sound you hear, filling your ears with a sense of calmness, as if the world around you has disappeared, leaving only you and the fire. In this moment you feel like you're in a familiar place, like you've returned to a home you never knew you had. The warmth of the flames spreads throughout your body like a healing balm for the soul. It's a feeling you can't quite describe, it's like coming home after a long journey. You feel like you belong here, in this moment. Flames seem to have a life of their own, rising and falling in this hypnotic rhythm. Like an ancient dance, a primal force that's existed since the beginning of time. The fire draws you closer, closer, pulling you into its embrace. And you feel like you're in the presence of something powerful. Something that has the ability to transform and purify. It's like a baptism of fire, burning away all the impurities and leaving only the essential parts of you. As you gaze into the flames, you feel this sense of liberation and connection to something greater than yourself. Feel through the hypnotizing dance of the orange blaze. You feel this surge of power coursing through your veins. Your body tingling with the electric energy of the fire. It's as though the flames are alive and they're reaching out to embrace you in there. Reaching out to embrace you. You feel like a god. Invincible and unstoppable. The flames intensify, growing hotter and brighter, until they become like liquid magma, flowing and swirling around you. There's that orange, hot ocean that you described. You dive into the molten sea, feeling the weight of the world pressing down on you. But you don't falter. Instead, you rise up, feeling the heat of the magma energizing you, filling you with strength and power. As the flames grow hotter and hotter, the air around you thickens with the heat, and a great force within you is unleashed. Suddenly, a mighty eruption occurs, and a towering pillar of fire shoots up from the earth all around you, turning the skies above this deep, ominous shade of black. You are now a towering inferno, a great mountain of fire that burns brighter and hotter than any star in the sky. Your presence is commanding, and those who dare cross your path will feel the full force of your wrath. You feel invincible, as though nothing could stand in your way. As the world trembles before your might, you lift your hand up and rip a massive fiery axe from the volcanic earth. The weapon is an extension of yourself, an instrument of your fury that you wield with an expert precision. You heft it onto your shoulder, feeling its weight and power flow through you. With each step, the ground shakes beneath you. The skies darken with soot and ash. It begins to rain fire. You are a force of nature, a storm of fire and destruction that nothing can hope to contain. As you move forward, your fiery axe blazing with each swing, you are a living embodiment of destruction. The land around you burns, the air filled with the screams of those who dare defy you and stand in your way. As you stand and gaze up into the sky, you witness a great golden rift tear through the blackened clouds, and from it pours a tide of glimmering figures in their thousands. They resemble nothing like you've ever seen before, their bodies seeming to be made out of gold and pure light, and they glide through the air, their movements are swift and fluid, and they're armed with radiant weapons. Your throat rumbles with this primal roar, and the ground beneath you shakes as if in response. You unleash your fury upon the surrounding wildlife, a primal instinct takes over, and you become one with this raging inferno. The great prehistoric beasts and reptiles and other creatures scramble for safety, sensing the immense power that radiates from you. As you advance, the primordial jungle forest is set ablaze by your wrath, and the ancient trees are no match for your unbridled strength. They splinter and crack, falling into the ground like defeated giants. The ground is charred and blackened in your wake as you leave behind a trail of destruction, but your eyes are fixed on the glimmering figures that pour from that golden rift, and you feel this burning desire to confront them. Your heart pounds in your chest as you grow closer, your rage fueling your every move. You are born of fire and fury, nothing stands in your way. The golden invaders will soon learn of the folly of challenging you. And you are a creature of unstoppable power and wrath. And as time, eons pass, 1,000 battles have passed. As the golden figures descend towards you, their gleaming blades and spears ready to strike, you stand your ground, unwavering and fierce. Your axe swings with the force of 1,000 suns, carving their armour as if nothing more than paper. The molten slag that remains as evidence of your sheer power. This land is your birthplace. You are the manifestation of the great spirit of fire that forged you from the molten earth. You are among those that the spirits have chosen as a desperate last weapon against the invading tide of golden figures. You are a living embodiment of their fury, created of pure fire and unyielding determination. A final strike against the enemy that will stop at nothing to fulfill your purpose. As the years pass, you fight countless battles, each one carving its own path of destruction across the land, the memories of these battles weighing heavily upon you, etched into your very soul. You've stood atop mountains of fallen foes and have been crushed beneath their weight. You've seen others born of the spirits fall in battle, their essence becoming one with the great spirits once more. And yet you've kept marching forward, fueled by a fire that refuses to die. Despite the countless battles you fought, your rage remains unquenched, and it burns within you like a relentless inferno, fueling your every step forward. And as you watch the war-torn sky, you see a parting that catches your eye. The chanting of a hymn fills the air, a sound both ancient and powerful. A rift forms, and from it descends a majestic figure, clothed in gold and white. Its white wings unfurl, their feathers seeming to glow with the dim light. It's surrounded by many others, each holding a ceremonial ringed staff. A massive golden tome floats before this figure, its pages glowing with a bright white light. Across the battlefield, angelic warriors and elemental myrmidons gaze up in both awe and terror. You know what must be done. You surge forward, your fiery axe raised high. You must put a stop to this ritual, no matter the cost. But as you approach, a violent flash of radiant light erupts from the book. You feel yourself being torn apart. Your form, your body, and your strength blasted away by the divine wind. The landscape around you is ripped asunder, a great cataclysmic spell striking against the world. And then you feel your spirit being torn from your corporeal form. You're pulled towards the heart of the world, to the heart of the ley lines, the birthing star. The remains of your last dying embers scatters to the wind. Angus,
Oh no. I don't want to feel.
There we get set up, as it seems to be the Soundscape seems to be crashing every time I load up a new ambient. There we go. You feel the intense heat emanating from the nearby braziers as it wafts against your face. Sensation grows in intensity. You try to close your eyes and let the warmth wash over you. And as you turn your head to the side, you feel the rough texture of gravel against your cheek. The back of your head scrapes through it. You inhale deeply the scent of sulphur and iron that fills your nose. But instead of repulsion, it fills you with a deep sense of connection to something greater than yourself. So you open your eyes. That's not the right image. One second. Here we go. As you open your eyes, the vastness of the underground magma chamber takes your breath away. The molten iron lake seems to radiate a light so pure and bright that it illuminates the cavern like a grand temple. The walls are made of deep red rock, flecked with iron and glittered veins of various shining metals. The centre of the lake is home to this familiar small island, and atop it, once more, you see that statuesque figure in deep contemplation, gazing out over the molten metal expanse. You observe that brass bridge which leads to the figure, made of those tessellated chevron shapes, that stretches out about 1/3 of the way across before stopping.
Immediately, as he realizes where he is, he pulls himself up from the gravel and he looks around and he finds his place.
So as you pull yourself up, you kind of feel the gravel beneath you, and you see what looks like glittering flecks of gold and silver, also like stars in the sky. It wasn't there before. In fact, a lot of these, a lot of the metals and veins of ore in the walls, the glittering of the cavern wasn't there before.
What of something happened, and he can recall almost none of his last visions and the recent ancestors when he struck the rune. All he remembers is the terrible maw and the hunger and the fear and the burned image of it consuming the ancestors behind him. Does he see that taint over his family? Is it still there?
Around your neck, you wear a single glistening sapphire ring made of mithril and orichalcum, the Rune Lord's ring, and you see no such corruption.
Immediately, he cries relief. His knees buckle and wobble, and he has to catch his hands upon them not to stumble.
See,
and he just weeps. Happy.
You kind of kneel in the gravel. You see, partially buried within the dark, glittering volcanic gravel is the hilt of a very familiar hammer.
He shuffles forward. Come on then. Grabs a handful of the gravel and scoops it away, and scoops and begins to shovel to unbury this thing.
You dig up the grim hammer. There's always been something about the hammer that's felt out of reach, incomplete. It feels cold to the touch, despite the heat surrounding you. You almost feel sluggish wielding it, like it has an uneven balance.
A hand instinctively goes for the ring around his neck, and as he hefts this unwieldy, almost wobbly hammer, he looks at it and with a curiosity wipes tears away on his forearm and just says, "What happened to you?"
You can't pinpoint it, but there's always been that sort of unevenness when you've wielded the hammer itself. But it's been very mild. And here in the dream it seems more noticeable.
Less a question of why it isn't functioning, but more the realization as he looks at the ring and he holds it gently between his fingers and the hammer, and he has the thought that perhaps just as the ring, something happened to this. Setting that thought aside for just a moment, he looks forward at the plinths in front of him, and he tries to recall those that he's risen.
You can see those statues of those dwarven figures that are now familiar to you, looming on either side of the bridge. Again, the bridge of chevrons is incomplete, and upon each of these chevrons is these small engraved runes. Each of them glows this divine blue from when you previously struck them.
It's gone. They're okay. They're okay. And tentatively, he hesitates and pauses for a moment, standing at the edge. Places his first step on the first plinth of his parents, and he looks at them proudly before he begins to move on.
Memories flash by, past the first rune that represents family. Panic and the confusion during the dwarven exodus from the monstrous white dragon Malanis and her frost kobold hordes. Memories of falling in love, forging great treasures, grief and acceptance, growing sick, passing in your sleep. You continue across the bridge. You pass more glowing runes, each with their own memories and significance. The second glowing rune, flanked by the two statues of Grandar Kasich and Grandmother Gaelis Brackenbrick. The rune of legacy. Memories of a simple life as a popular baker flood your mind. You fell in love with a young priestess, showing them the way of the forge, and together you created great works. Amidst social tensions, you both felt safe enough to start a family and forge your greatest work, your son Granik. The third rune, the word betrayal is engraved upon it. Bayrock Brackenbrick, Maedrith Brackenbrick, Aegner Brackenbrick, and Dunrick Brackenbrick. Bringing back memories of a feud between two rival clans, Silverhearth and Burick, due to a love affair and a child born from it. Tensions escalate, then Dunrick exiles his son Bayrock from the Burick clan, leading to a clash between the two clans on the steps of Mountainholm. Despite the son's victory, the result is tragic, and both clans return home with low morale. The fourth rune, loyalty. Four generations of dwarves carved in stone, Mazog and Ironguard, witnesses the rise and fall the rise of a false High King who becomes a tyrant, causing many clans to rebel. Mazog joins a resistance movement and meets Grimzir, a war priestess with whom he falls in love, and his son, Havik. Havik grows up in a divided kingdom and becomes a resistance fighter, while Bridith, a loyal handmaid of the last Bronze Heart descendant, also falls in love with Havik. After many battles, Havik leads an attack against the tyrant and is victorious, leading to Bronzeheart retaking the throne. But much rebuilding is needed. The 5th rune. A rune you've not struck before in your dreams, yet here it is. Its platform remains risen. The Oath rune. A very old rune indeed. 2 towering brass statues loom on either side of this newly formed chevron. 1 man and 1 woman. The man is dressed in an ornate blacksmith's garb. He wears a grand mantle and a headpiece decorated with various runes. The most striking thing that you notice about him is that he bears a striking resemblance to you. He has a very long, bushy mustache, plump features, round cheeks and nose, except for the fact that he has this long, braided beard woven and decorated with all sorts of runic trinkets and talismans. Uldmar Brackenbrick of Clan Thunderbeard. The woman across from him looks to be a highly decorated warrior who wields 2 hand axes and sports a complex series of woad tattoos. Sorry, not 2 hand axes, one large hand axe. There we go. Sports a complex series of woad tattoos across her arms. She looks like a traditional depiction of a berserker warrior. A very old dwarven tradition that stems back for 1,000 years. This is Mordra Strongbow of Clan Thunderbeard, who later became Mordra Brackenbrick. And this is where the bridge stops. The glowing oath rune before you.
He's going to pause. And he's going to look. First, stand right in front of the statue of Uldmar. He's going to take a moment. And he's going to look at his beard and his trinkets very carefully. He's going to study them close.
Mm-hmm.
As a student studying a recipe, he eyes his creations. He burns it into his mind as a focus as for everything else fades away. And then he looks upon the hand of the statue. Does it wear the same ring that he has around his neck?
There you see, upon his ring finger, alongside Dwarven marriage traditions, that beads in the braid. You see on his ring finger, immaculate in brass, very same ring around your neck. And you see, holstered on the side of his waist, very familiar hammer.
Does it resemble more this terrible sort of weighty hammer that I have found of the Rune Lord's Grim hammer?
It has a similar.
Go on.
It has very, very similar shape.
Study it carefully. Try and find the differences. And though not able to fully be grasped, in one hand he'll hold this hammer, and with his others he'll reach out and he'll hold the handle of the statue. And then it will move from the handle and over the hand of the statue itself as he looks up and I'll do it right. I'll fix it. And glances over to Wardrobe and that statue and looks at the carving of the tattoos upon her arms. He looks at the intricate shape of this sort of primal wildness. And then the great axe, lost to his family, a wedding gift.
This tall axe is about as tall as she is. And you can see across the head it has sort of intricate runes and carvings across these sort of where the blade meets the handle. Just make me a Smith's Tools check with intelligence, I will say.
Okay.
Because while this entire statue is wrought in brass, there are certain methods of forging certain weapons which betray what the substance they're made out of.
What are you? Oh, well. I think he knows.
Yes, this would be considered a battle axe, a mithril battle axe. In fact, with a 26, you can see runes carved across it that would indicate this is some sort of greenbane axe.
I remember watching you get made. The care and the craftsmanship. The love that went into it. The love for you. Unification of a hate of something else. I'll find you. If you're not resting where you should be, I'll find you. And he gently pats the statue as he looks up to the powerful woman that wields the axe with a sense of pride and respect and the healthy sort of fear that any child should have at a powerful mother figure. He makes his way to the middle, towards that risen rune. And he peers past it at that figure far off away, lone and distant. Are you Dravik? Is that who you're supposed to be? Some guiding force? Are you the first of my family? Who are you?
Statue reigns there in deep contemplation, but you sense it's watching.
If you won't tell me, I'll come over there and I'll find out myself. I don't care how many times you turn me to dust. How many pools of iron I have to boil in, or whatever visions you may scare me with. Find out what I'll have to do, and I'll do it. For all of them behind me and in front of me, or all the ones that I'll make. I'm not gonna stop. Not for my people. If you wanna watch and judge, then you watch and judge. I'm not just a little baker boy anymore. See what I can do. And with that, he'll heft up the hammer high, and he'll look at it as it wobbles at the top of his grasp. See what I can fix. And he will strike down at that rune.
The chamber echoes with this deep and powerful resonant sound. The walls start to shake. Rocks break loose from the walls, tumbling down into the molten iron. The impact creates these arcs of bright orange energy that surge up from the lake like a coronal loop of the sun, and then careen down into the liquid metal in front of the platform. And you see a new pair of figures arise from the liquid iron. A man and a woman. The Dwarfen man looks young, though his eyes have been... they've seen devastation and war. He holds aloft a hammer and a massive stone shield, covered in prayer seals. Around his neck he holds a necklace bearing the honorific of a clan elder, like a set of rosaries. It is a symbol of a bolt of lightning striking a battle axe. Opposite him is a dwarfen woman, bearing tattoos of lightning bolts, and wearing a traditional shaman's robe, bejeweled in polished stone runes and feathers. She holds aloft a tall staff adorned with rings and griffin feathers. Her face is likewise young, but she has seen not just combat but loss. The new platform grows hot, which eventually subsides, and you can see that the rune upon the plinth has multiple meanings, but due to the old dialect of the Dwarven language, it's clear to decipher it. You make out the meaning of courage. Memories flash by. You hear the clashing of swords, the battle roars of 1,000 dwarfen voices, the strike of a lightning bolt, the shrieking of the risen dead, followed by the divine rush of holy fire. Thrina Fulcrag and Heydric Brackenbrick were both born into Clan Thunderbeard during the tumultuous years of the War of the Undying. As children, they were forced to grow up quickly, learning to defend their clan and their people against the undead hordes that threatened to overrun the Silver Kingdom. The dwarves fought with their back against the wall. Frida was a natural-born shaman, a trait gained from her father. And from a young age, she had an affinity for the elements, particularly the storms that raged across the northern mountains of Mayland. Heydrich, on the other hand, was always drawn to the light, became a devout follower of Dune. As they grew older, Frina and Heydrich became close friends, sharing their experiences of the war and finding solace in each other's company. They fought side by side in many battles, with Heydrich using his divine magic to heal his comrades and smite the undead, while Frida summoned fierce lightning storms to devastate Voltus' hordes. Despite the horrors they faced, their bond only grew stronger, and eventually they fell in love. They were married on the battlefield, in the fires of war, surrounded by their fellow warriors and loved ones. As the undead battered the gates of Farinholm, Frina lost her father during the end of the war, but in the years after it, the two had many children. One of them was Oldmar. The rune of courage glows faintly before you. What do you do?
He opens his eyes as the visions of past fades. And he finds a sense of familiarity as he thinks back on the bog and fighting against undead itself. Though different, the bonds formed through war when fighting against the greenskins. Sense of loss, standing atop the corpses of not just your enemies, but fallen brethren that lifted you there. The courage not just to fight, but to go past, to prepare for the next. He remembers deeply that feeling when he swore that oath of Greensteel. He looks at that hammer and he collects that sense. That primal feeling of not just aggression and determination, but of also fear and accepting it and willing to push past it. And he looks to that figure across the end, afraid of what it is, but determined to know. And he summons that sense of courage within himself. And with pause, a deep breath, and collection, I am afraid, but I'm not gonna let it stop me. He strikes down again.
You strike the rune of courage. Once more the chamber echoes the clang of your hammer. The ground shakes, runic patterns roll out across the bridge like a shockwave from the plinth. The molten iron shimmers, gives rise to another platform. Glows before eventually solidifying. Another platform emerges. This one bears the rune of sacrifice. Two figures emerge. The first is a dwarfen woman with long, wild and braided hair and decorated with woad paint. She wears the garb of a healer and dons the holy symbol of Helga. She doesn't appear to be a warrior nor a powerful priestess, but she is surrounded by many children. The second emerges, two great battle axes in hand. The dwarfen male is posed in a battle roar. He is dressed in chainmail and furs. 4 totems are planted at his feet. His hair is styled into a tall, intimidating mohawk, and his beard and mustache is styled like the tusks of a wild boar. Memories wash past you again. Thorga Ironheart. You were born into the clan of Thunderbeard. You were a faithful follower of Helga, the lesser ancestor goddess of hearth, home, motherhood, queens, fertility, healing, and good harvests. From a young age, you showed a talent for healing and a deep empathy for those around you. When you were still a young woman, you met a stoic and powerful young man who had been contacted by the elemental spirits. Despite his formidable presence, you were drawn to his heart and unwavering devotion to his people. And you married him. And you dedicated your life to taking care of your clan and raising your many children. Even during the first tumultuous decades of the war, he was a loving and dutiful father, even as he risked his life in countless battles against the undead. He became a veteran of many battles as the years aged the both of you. Your sons even joined him in later years. Even Frina was inspired. As the war raged on, your husband, with sorrow in his heart, left behind you, his sons, and his daughters, to sail across the Nidean Sea to join the invasion of Kalki Isle, hoping to make the world safe for his family. You stayed behind to keep the bonds and spirit of the clan alive, using your healing skills to tend to the wounded and your wisdom to guide your people through the darkest times. However, your husband never returned. You held on to hope that he was still alive, but as the years turned into decades, you knew that it was unlikely. Despite the pain of his absence, you continued to be a beacon of strength and compassion to your clan, helping to raise your children's children with the same love and devotion you had always shown. It wasn't until much later that you learned the truth of what happened to your husband. He had ascended Ruin's Peak during the final invasion of Kalki Isle, alongside a number of other legendary heroes. In your final years, your clan would remember him with reverence and pride. His name would forever be passed down through the generations as an exemplar of dwarven self-sacrifice for one's family and clan. His name was Kazmorg Fullcrag. The eyes of the statue glow bright with the divine lightning. The axe crackles with blue streaks of static. There's a flash of thunder, and you're briefly blinded as you awaken. Angus, Vellum, Dejar. You all regain consciousness in a peaceful and private rest chamber at the Crescent Falls Resort. This chamber is different from Felindra's den, and it appears that you've been brought here to finish your dreams without any disturbances. Each of you have been given your own resting areas and about the room with soft plush pillows and a curtain that has been drawn to provide privacy from the rest of the temple spa. it's a comfortable and inviting space, and allowing you to relax and focus on the important task at hand. As you slowly come to your senses, you notice the oppressive heat and the smell of smoke filling the air around you. The flickering light of nearby flames casts shadows across the room. And you can hear the sound of Grunker's restless tossing and turning.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Damn it, Grunker. Did you set the resort on fire?
I think he did.
Oh no.
Unfortunate.
Well, as despite the low light, you can see he's shedding what looks like a strange orange glow from the cracks in his rocky skin. The air around him seems to be distorted by the heat emanating from his body, and you can see that some of the pillows nearby are already beginning to catch fire. What do you do?
Oh, jeez.
I'm getting
I'm gonna grab him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab get the war skins and try and douse some
All right.
the things catch fire.
As you kind of grab Grunko, try to shake him awake. Grunko, you come to wakefulness, and the rest of you see the fire within him surge with adrenaline, causing a bright light to emanate from within his body, and in an instant, the elemental fire erupts from Grunker, illuminating the chamber, causing all of you to instinctively shield yourselves from the blast.
Oh no.
Oh great.
Oh no, I exploded.
Do I need to make it safe?
Yes,
I'm not
please.
Makes it
Yeah, I think
Safe.
like not 5. Yeah, I think you were
Can I
just
do
like
something?
not 5 feet away. So
I am grabbing him.
Mhm.
Like, I wasn't so much just grabbing him to shake him, but like I'm trying to like hold him. Like, it's okay. If he's in the process of this, can I just kind of like hug him and fail? Maybe that'll help the others.
Sure. I'll say, Angus, you choose to fail.
He says, rolling a crit.
God, what the fuck?
I rolled double 20s.
Fail rolls double 20s.
That has to count for something.
And you know what? Fuck it.
Sorry, I haven't rolled yet.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that
Yeah. So, Dejar, you take some of the blast. Angus, you take the full 16 points of fire damage. Let me go ahead and apply that to you.
Resistance. I'll be okay.
Yes. So you take 8 points of fire damage.
it's fine. It's fine.
The heat is intense and overwhelming, and the edges of planks, curtains, and other fabrics in the mostly stone room catch fire, casting this dim orange glow across over everything. However, the shockwave quickly subsides, leaving behind only the burgeoning, flickering flames of anything that was flammable. You can feel the heat just still emanating from Grunker, and the intense energy pulsating from within is palpable, and then it slowly subsides. Your heart pounds in your chest, Grunker.
It's okay, lad. It's okay. It was a dream. We're okay.
are you
They're
sure?
busy is using
I'm sure.
precipitation to snuff out the flames.
Oh yeah, I burned the bed again.
He's gonna let go of one of his shoulders and do the other one to sort of grab his hand. It's okay. It's over.
Grunker, you unlock something
Oh no!
for Eld.
Oh no! I have unlocked explode the room.
So, you have unlocked a new feature of your fiery fists.
Oh sweet!
Whenever you roll an 8 on the bludgeoning damage with your fists, you erupt in a fiery explosion. All creatures within 5 feet of you must succeed on a dexterity saving throw equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength modifier, or take an additional 2d8 fire damage.
Hell yeah.
It's a lot of auditions, but yeah, it's cool. Nice, nice. I can now explode people with my fists.
Yes.
That is very neat.
So,
I punch full of rage.
as you all awaken to this, the adrenaline sort of surging in your veins, in all of your veins, what do you do?
Is everyone okay?
Yeah, that's. Is this normal? Ooh, that hurt.
I mean,
You alright? Can I let go of you?
yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine now.
He's gonna let go of that shoulder first, but he's still kind of holding on to his hand. It's just... We're at the resort.
Yep.
It's okay. Relax.
Yep, there's no angels nearby. I'm fine.
Wait,
It's
what?
not... What? There's not...
Excuse me, what? Explain.
Later. Let's not get him into it again. It's
Oh,
okay.
right. No, never mind. Excuse me.
I figure we've all had a bit of a time.
Here, have some chocolate.
Oh. Right, Peter.
Okay.
Here, have some water. You might need it.
You watch it sort of melt in his grasp a little bit.
Oh.
I think water is
So much for only
more-
melting in your mouth. I should get my money back. Anyway, it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh. In the immediate threat of where he's at, burning down, fading, he sort of stumbles back and falls flat on his ass, and just. Oh.
Are you okay, Angus?
No, but yes, it's okay. Are you okay? Is everyone... Does anyone else want to explode?
Emotionally or...
Suddenly,
You know
Venom
what?
explodes. Everyone takes radiant damage.
He's gonna try and collect himself, and for a moment, he's gonna look over and see who seems to be the most traumatically fucked up.
That is a loaded question.
Who's not coping the best at the
Oh
moment?
dear, hang on. I've tabbed over to the stream chat, and all the sound effects that were building up there just went at once. And sorry, I couldn't.
Yep. They'll do that.
Oh.
All at once.
Okay. So, Vellum looks out of sorts, like more so than usual, but he doesn't seem like his eyes are a little bit darted. Like it's an adrenaline high, you can probably tell,
Ah,
and
I think we're
anxiety,
all on one of those.
that sort of deal. What about Snick?
Yara is withdrawn more so than ever. He's trying to put up a front, but she's
Okay.
he's not looking at anyone in the eye.
Not seeing anything clearly as, like, you know, no one else is, like, shaking or any shit like that. He's just kind of gonna look at the both. Okay. Is everyone alright from their dreams?
I woke up with more questions than answers, but I'm more annoyed.
I think I have an idea, but I need to get rid of this. And he just rubs her forehead where that scar is. I need to get
I'll
rid of
help you.
this.
Talk to Thor, I'll help you. We can do it soon. Maybe even while we're here. Not this room, as he sort of looks to the scorch marked support pillars. But the resort. I'm
Yeah,
sure
there is-
Varesh will be happy to help with whatever we might need. Let's just
There's a healer that
breathe for a minute.
could aid you in that, but yes. Hmm.
And what about you, Angus?
I need a moment to process it. But I am very proud of who I saw. And he kind of he looks very far away for a moment as he nods his head. I am very proud.
Yard looks at Angus in the eyes for the first time after waking up. You know, what you did was relatively, dare I say, dangerous.
What? As he snaps back?
Whatever happened with Grunka, you didn't move away. You went toward him like... Sounds like something I would do, but... It's the first for me to see you do that.
Well, you know, it's just... I wanted to make sure he was okay, and... If something happens, you know... Well, I'm tough. Kinda, you know, punches his chest a little bit. I can do it.
The only problem I see here is that you beat me to it.
Well... Dwarves are natural sprinters. Are you okay though, Grunka? As he finally sort of realizes and lets go of Grunka's hand.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine now. I just, it was a pretty, pretty immersive.
You want some water,
That's
Grunka?
a big word for you.
Yeah.
He just hands over Grunka a water skin.
Thanks, I feel a little dry.
I can imagine.
You
Looks
look a
over to the room.
little... Yeah,
I feel dry.
you look dry. You look crusty.
I would say more charred, but okay.
Well, no, more molten crusty. You know?
Okay. I can concede to that.
Well, you know, when you kind of start burning from the inside, it kind of dries you out. Okay.
Would you like
That
a
was
sip
interesting.
from my flask?
Oh, I think I'm good. It was interesting. Wasn't really as wasn't really what I expected.
Oh,
Well,
It was interesting, and I think I learned some things.
well, that's good. And if at any point you feel like you want to talk about that with anyone, you know we're here.
Yeah,
I
mean,
think
it all
we
it
all
all-
should.
yeah, it honestly wasn't really that
Yeah.
like it really wasn't really like traumatic. I mean, I guess it was a little traumatic now that I think about it, but it wasn't like I wouldn't really lose sleep over it necessarily, but it was immersive,
It felt real.
very.
It,
I felt like I was there thousands of years ago.
I felt the same in my dream. Just saying that he's just very visibly shaking.
Mine was the same as ever, but just as real.
Yeah?
Okay. So,
Do you want to talk about these things a bit?
sure, I guess.
You were literally on fire, so I feel that might be sort of
Right.
a great
Well,
starting point. You said something
okay.
about angels. Are you
Yeah,
confident
so,
carefully watches him to make sure he doesn't start to smolder again.
okay, so, yeah, you know the thing that happened, like, long ago?
There's been many of those.
Yeah, but you know, very, very long ago. Like, you know, when when those angel people came here.
They did a few things.
Yeah. So, I was there. I I killed a lot of angels. A lot of angels. And then, you know, it was pretty intense. It was like, you know, a lot of, you know, a lot of, I guess, well, not really my friends, but, you know, a lot of, incendious, friends and comrades, died. And then there was this, you know, it's just a lot. It's a lot of very angry killing. Okay, this is like a lifetime of killing and anger and being very angry. And then there was this this tear get open up, and some angel, some big angel will come out with like a big book, like a big golden book, and he started doing some magic. And I tried to, Incendiaries tried to stop that, and you know, then yeah, I assume the spell went off, and you know, kind of tore him apart, and you know, kind of like, you know, scattered him.
30 strangers.
Angus is on point.
30 in the back.
Yeah. So yeah. So I guess he, like, you know, I and also him kind of, you know, died, but also not, because I guess he can't really die. He's like kind of scattered around in, like, you know, those ley line thingies that exist in the world. So yeah, I think that was kind of what happened to me. I think I was mainly, you know, I wasn't really, you know, I guess dying was kind of traumatic, but it wasn't real, I hope. I mean, it was real for him, but it wasn't real for me. So yeah, I think I was just very angry and kind of caught up in it all. So I'm actually, like, you know, fine. I think it was just, you know, it was a lot. I think I kind of understand him a little bit more now, because, you know, he was just a very angry boy who, you know, kind of had his home invaded. And he, you know, now that I think about it, it kind of reminds me of us, which is a bit messed up now that I think about it.
Angels are the worst.
Yeah.
I
I didn't really care for them before now, but now I just really disliked them. Did you still have that flask? I feel like I kind of need something.
Here you go.
Thanks.
Classic.
Just gonna drink a hefty amount and then give it back.
Can we not talk about angels again?
Okay, but you know it was yeah, it was pretty intense.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
But as long as at least you're all right afterwards. That's the important thing.
Yeah, I hope I don't have to pay for all of this.
We'll
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll see. Also,
Though,
also, so can I, you know, before she comes back, do you guys really think she's just a satyr?
he is a Satan.
Yeah, but you know, do you think she's just a satyr?
what do you mean?
Well, I mean, you know, you know how Mortifex was also a human. Like, do you think this person's also, you know, not
Like
just
a
a
green
satyr?
dragon?
Yeah, it was something like, you know, not just a satyr. It feels like they kind of know things and do things and stuff that, you know, I don't really think a normal person should be doing.
There's a
Satyrs
possible.
do have interesting connections to dreams and that type of magic. They're oddly mystical, and
Yeah,
little is known of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't
There's
know, but you know,
deeply-
she kind of has the feeling of being like, you know, a bit more than just a
Knows
satyr.
too much.
A little, you know.
They live a very long time and they are connected to the world deeply.
Yeah, but you know,
Most.
it just feels more. But I don't know, maybe it's just a feeling.
I think the
Well-
reason you might be having such strong feelings is that you are so close to the Actuine Gulf right now. That's, well, you're talking about the primordial war,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
When
Primordial
the heavens
what?
came down and shaped things and took powers, and
Yeah, there was a lot of
Hold
war.
on. What do you mean primordial war?
Yeah,
the
you know,
primordial war.
yeah, you know the thing in the beginning.
I
Beginning.
In the beginning, I fucking trade tone.
It
Way
is
back
difficult.
when the world was fresh and humans weren't hardly a thing, and just
Yeah, there's a lot of elemental stuff. I think we were told this, but I don't. Was it? Who told us this? Was it the spider? Did spider tell us this? Bellum, you were there. Did the spider tell us this?
I think it rings a bell.
Yeah, I think I remember some of it.
She did actually tell you this, yes.
Yeah, I think I have some sort of memory about this, but I don't think
Okay.
you weren't here, Angus, and you weren't
no,
here.
but I read about it.
Yeah, and you weren't here, Dajar. But you know,
Okay.
yeah, it was like this. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but it was basically, you know, the world was run by, you know, the elements, you know, the four elements, and then you know, the angels just kind of showed up and decided that, you know what, this is our place now, and then they killed the elementals and like the people who were, and then realized that, oh wait, those like elemental, like I don't know, lords, I don't know what you call them.
Denizens?
Aspects.
Yeah,
That's a better word.
the big cheeses, kind of, you know, they kind of realized that, oh wait, they actually kind of needed to exist for the world to exist, so they then made their own much worse versions of those that they then control, and you know, the world is kind of, you know, exists, but you know, not as well or as good or as long or as they would have been if the real ones are there or something. I don't really remember. It was a while ago, and it was a fucking spider that tell us this. I was kind of, you know, flabbergasted.
I think you covered
can-
it pretty much well.
Yes,
I
just
can
a
give you a
small-
bit of information if you do need any holes filled, but you're pretty spot on, to say the short of it. There's
Okay.
actually the second primordial war. There was one before that,
Oh, okay.
which sort of brought those elements and light into the world, but it was a little bit different than what you're thinking of.
Oh, okay.
That one pushed away. It pushed out darkness, but it sort of balanced it with light. At the same time, it's sort of like, it's very old and cryptic, and it's much more spoken of as legends and fairy tales than it is an objective fact, because it was before time. It's just like, when I went under Mountain Home and there was some weirdness, it brought questions and I was able to get some answers, but it wasn't really, you know, oh, this is well-known fact, because it's sort of before anything else. It's hard to have someone record the beginning of the world, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were there.
But that brings the question, then where did the legends come from, if it's so far proven to be
Sorry
right by
to,
your dreams?
just to break up the thought here, but what do you mean spiders? You're just glossing over this.
There was when we went under Dune Hollow on a rescue mission. Came across some spider people, and they were weird, but not really hostile, I think. And their leader was a big spider who had prophecy abilities or something. And they had these big old murals up and shit.
Yeah, the Arashids. Arachids? I don't
Right.
really know. They speak weird. Yeah, I know them.
Was there any special name connected to them? This don't
Well,
seem right.
I think it was Arrakis, right?
Who? The spider or the people?
The spider.
The spider, what was her name?
Oh, the specific one.
Oh.
I'll remember.
It was a brood mother Silex.
Oh, yeah. Soylix. Soylent Green.
Skrillex.
Wow.
He's gonna kind of think. You gave me a bit of information. Would he be aware of sort of that with what you were talking about with the first war?
Who are you talking to, Janner, or?
Jenner.
I don't know with the Primeval War. That's very, very hidden knowledge. The only reason.
By the way. Okay.
The
I'll let you finish.
the only reason that some of you know about it is purely because creatures from that time gave you the information.
Okay.
So he wouldn't know anything other than that it happened with that 30, which makes sense.
Mhm.
To even know it existed would require an insane roll, not have details.
Oh yeah.
So I rolled a history on what they were talking about. Would any of this ring a bell to me?
With the 26, you would have vaguely heard about the Primordial War. Because you've spent your time in the library of Quetzali, very briefly, but you've done a little bit of research in there beforehand. I would say you would have probably stumbled across some of these very same murals that Grunker found.
I would think for a moment. Murals, like ones with elements on them, and am I correct in that assumption? She's asking Grunka.
What was that?
Murals that have like the elements of
Yeah.
fire, earth, water, and wind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think one of them was depicting your dream, right, Grunker? You said the angels came down and there was a big book.
Oh yeah. There was like this big, there was like this much bigger angel in like the middle that had like this big like golden book I was reading from. I think I was casting some spell from it.
Being a dick, more like.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of what I saw at least. And I mean, you know, it was mainly just a lot of fighting. But I was there. It felt like it was weird. The world looked different then.
Okay. That aside, how was your dream, Vellum? Don't have to go into detail, just...
About the same as normal. But, it ended different.
Okay.
This time I managed to fight back her. And instead of the usual darkness, everything was light. And before I knew what was happening, I think I demanded an answer to a question that I've not been wanting to think about. So when I got the chance, I asked her why me. After that, I think I saw... I saw her afraid and tearful, but protective. And she was holding an egg. And when I demanded my answer, she started giving it to me, but everything just faded, and I woke up, and like I said, more questions than answers. But maybe things will be better now.
Hopefully.
I don't fully know what it means, but maybe now I can start figuring things out and get some sleep. I may need to work some frustration out because, like I said, I was about to get my answer, but didn't. But, yeah.
Maybe you're not ready for it.
Maybe. Or maybe I don't even know it, so how can my dreams tell me?
I think...
That's true.
I think...
Go ahead.
I think, Vellum, you have your answer, just not in the form you think of it. I'll tell you later.
Cryptic. What about yours, Angus? Did we go over yours yet? I'll admit, I'm a little foggy still. I think I'm still waking up.
I went back to that lake of fire. Of molten iron again. And there weren't the teeth anymore, which was nice. And I got to see more statues. I got to learn a bit about good old Lord Mar and Mordra. And I also got to see a couple more. I saw Friedra and Heydrich they were there. Saw the war in the Undying and the loss of that. And then, she was powerful berserker lady. A lot like Grunka, but very, shaman-y. Well, it's not fair to say. You're in tune with spirits too, Grunka.
I guess. I don't really know anymore.
It's hard to tell sometimes. And, well, she got that from my father, and, we saw a homely healer type lass. And she, wasn't a powerful cleric or anything, or great caster, but just, just a healer and a mother and grandmother of sorts. And then she had her man was a product of the war, and he went up and he fought there, and it was difficult, of course, He had to fight in the Undying, and it's not easy. There was, the losses when Kalki Isles and the invasion of that, and pushing that away, and going up and dealing with Ruin's Peak and ascending the very top, and well, he passed away there and never came back, and it was very difficult to deal with that. And after that, in a great bolt of lightning, as you do at the top of mountains, I woke with a flash.
Like a light?
Yeah, but getting struck with lightning, or something you're right in front of getting struck with lightning, and
Okay. You're talking about the Ruins Peak. Talking about like the heroes? The one up there?
I just realised I was muted. Dejar, make me a history check, please.
Alright. You've considering that you're actually proficient in this as well, you've done your fair share of study. It's a bit lower DC for you. You have heard of the battles of Ruins, the Battle of Ruins Peak. You don't. Very few people actually know what happened at that peak, and very few people who. Those who survived that battle very much took an oath of silence, but discussion of what happened there. There is a one dwarf that did die there. Though the name escapes you. I'm gonna have to think on this, but turns to Angus. Not many people know about that. Good reason.
Yep. No, they don't.
No, I mean that is a not well-known subject at all.
Yep. I know. It's interesting, and there's quite a bit of knowledge about it and not knowing about it, and you can sort of see he's starting to look at you, and he's looking past you and talking, and his head is nodding as he's talking, as it becomes very clear he's not focusing on you anymore, as he's, yep, it's a quite a curious thing it is.
You almost had a very worrying gaze, but then just her gaze just softens, like, and just shakes her head. Another question for another day. I would definitely.
Yeah, sorry. No, I just watched a lot of my family members die, so it's I need a little. It's hard to think about at the moment, you know. If you could just a little time and. Yep.
I'm jealous
are
of
you
that.
okay? How do you? Let's talk about your dream.
I just saw faces that I don't even remember, except he just stops. Except one. And even look her in the face. Anyway, he just has a very long stare, not looking down at the ground.
Maybe that'll help.
Huh?
Try starting at the beginning. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, did anyone have any nice dreams?
Angus, if we had nice dreams, we wouldn't be here.
He just points to Vellum.
I know, I was just hoping.
Well, I was in the sulfur seas, trying to find the light. It was being covered by poisonous fumes in the dirty fog. As soon as I tried slithering that direction, the sand, it almost clung to me like chains. And with each chain, there was someone attached to them. Didn't recognize who they were. They were strangers to me, but felt like I should have known them. All except one. She just has her eyes just glaze over. She puts her hand on her mouth. My girlfriend. Not bear to look her in the face. I cut the bands of chains off me, but he was the only one I couldn't look at while I sliced those chains. Then there was one still on me, like it was digging into my scales, my skin. I couldn't bring myself to cut that chain. I was ready to cut my hand off. But then there was a voice questioning what I wanted, who I was. Gave the best answers I could. One in particular stuck with me though. If I stare long enough into the darkness, there will be light. And after the bands of chains were broken, I picked up. He goes into her bag of holding and brings out that staff. I found this in the sand.
Oh, maybe you found it by after all.
But there's more. When the clouds and smog cleared, I saw all of you with me. At least the outline of you.
Aww.
And then I saw, he points to Vellum's hip where the sword was. I saw more of those. All staying in attention. Like they were waiting for something, someone. But all I could think of and have in my heart was valor, courage. To fix a mistake. I know what that mistake is. He looks at Vellum. Imagine the globe, at least from Mayland to Niobe and to Katesh, just bright in gold, tarnishing and cracking, darkness steeping each place, and then a plague of scarabs falling all over the Tesh, hearing screams and anguish. I know what I must do, I just don't know if I have the courage to be the hero I wish I had. But I know what the world deserves. He's looking away from all of you as tears run down her face.
Ja, you can't put so much pressure on yourself.
I'm not.
You just don't realize, and like your dream was even showing you, you saw us there, right?
Yes.
So, there's people to help. People that can give you the kind of strength you feel you lack. He'll gently put a hand on her shoulder.
It makes me happy to know that when things are happy, you thought of us. And that us being there made things better. I'm so grateful that you see me in that positive way. And even if it takes some of us a bit of time to figure things out, or to know what to do with our chains. Ultimately, we're here, together, with each other, to help with them. It's hard to break your own chains. But if you pull them taut, someone else can snap them. And that's the beauty of camaraderie. This session of dreaming worked a little too well for me, if I can be honest with you. I was expecting something that would help me have nicer dreams. Not dig into the soul of who I am. But damn it if it wasn't worth it, eh?
It wasn't what we wanted, but what we needed.
It's at that point you see kind of emerging from, sort of pulling back the curtain, you can see sort of dipping her head under to make room for her enormous kind of branching horns, Delandra. Ah, you are awake. Good to see you're unharmed. Is everything okay? I heard an explosion. She kind of looks around, looks at a bit of the charring on the walls.
Yeah, it was me. Sorry.
Accident. We can. I'm happy to pay for repairs. Sorry about that.
I told you this could happen.
Yes, I should have expected it. I will get the attendants to clean this up. So, how are you feeling?
A mess, but lighter.
Annoyed, but I didn't wake up in a cold sweat this time.
Sometimes our dreams do not show us everything we want to see. Sometimes they show us what we need to see.
Huh, funny you say that. We were just talking about that.
Oh. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. The thought that, you know, I was just saying to Vellum here how sometimes maybe what you need to see and what you're ready to see are different than what you want. Rather than, oh, the dream didn't tell me because I don't know, but maybe, you know, maybe it's telling you what you're ready to know.
You are very wise.
Well,
Still annoyed though.
If you ever wish to speak with me more on this, then I am more than happy to engage. I hope your dreams were illuminating for you. Perhaps they can set you on the right path.
You could say that again.
We have a lot of traveling to do, but I definitely think I need to come back.
Well, of course.
I second that. I've grown to like this place.
I have a question.
Yes.
You seem like the sort of high status, important, useful kind of person that other high status, important, useful people need to go to. Like, I mean, this is just an example, but if someone like a king of an area, and you know, there's a lot of weight on their shoulders, and if they have nightmares and things, I could see them coming to you to try and help with that. Do you know if there is an easy way to get back to the resort? Like, I know, like, we have these little rings that we can step in and it kind of poofs us away. Is there something like that here?
There is a waystone here at the resort. Do you wish to gain access to it?
I do. I do it so I can come back and talk to you about things, and I have plenty of coins to pay for your service. I don't expect it to be free, but you know,
Of course.
Yes, yes.
Unfortunately, that is not up to me to decide. You may have to speak with the owner of the resort to gain access to it.
Absolutely. Can you remind me which was their name again?
I believe that her name was Madame Zanzil. She's actually in town right now.
Isn't that the lady that I've set up the dinner date for?
That is.
Yep, it was.
Very
The exact woman.
Oh, I've met her before. I'm one of her cooks. As he kind of like straightens himself out, realizing, oh, it's secret underground fighting ring.
Oh, well, you should have no problem in trying to gain access then.
Yeah, I will do that. Thank you for. I didn't know that. Yes.
I didn't know that. Yes, the title of the biography.
Yes.
He is not as collected when talking about himself right now.
I know.
Yeah,
It's just me that being a book title.
Right. Here I was gonna turn to talk to I just forgot her name. Damn it.
What's the Drain Satyr's name?
Thalandra.
Philandra. And talking Sylvan. Is there a place to where we can go with my? She gestures to Angus here, to relieve a curse privately.
I do believe that we have a trained healer here in the resort. Perhaps you might be able to ask her. She does have these facilities. And yeah, really enough, as you're kind of mentioning curses, whereas most people would sort of look at you as if you had three heads, she seems fairly nonchalant about this. It's the same look that, or lack of a look, that she gave you, Gronka, when you mentioned like talking to your mother, your deceased mother.
Yar is going to insight that.
Make an insight check.
What are you trying to glean, Snick? Danger Noodle?
Why is she so aloof or so nonchalant about this? Oh,
You have no idea.
okay then. Take it as face value. Right.
Gleans some shit.
And she talks in trade tongue. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Where would the healer hasn't left yet, has she?
I do not believe her shift has ended yet, no.
Okay. Angus, can we do the removal of the curse fairly soon? I want to get rid of this like before we go to sleep. Again.
Not tonight. I need time to prepare properly to get the right magics attuned. If you will let me try tomorrow, let's try it the sun's rays, or just after. If you let me do that, I'll have everything ready and it'll be the best chance possible. And in fact, if you spend tonight and you steel yourself, rather than steal yourself, if you water, if you become more fluid, if you
Adaptable.
try to relax a bit, because like curses clench tight, and you have to be very fluid and flexible. You have to be like water, and you have to be able to slip away. It doesn't matter how hard you squeeze onto water, you can't squeeze it, you have to gently cup it to hold it, you know? You have to be like that water, and that's how you can easiest get through this.
And on top of that, we've all just been through a lot. It might be good.
I'm not in a place to help you right now. I need as much time to collect myself as you probably do too.
Right.
For magic and just for me.
I'm jumping the gun again.
You're not jumping the gun. You're ready to take the next step. It's just... Well, shite, that won't work. I was gonna say you're ready to take the next step, just make sure you put on your shoes first, but that doesn't really work.
Yeah, he just jumps into the lower half of... Okay.
Yeah, I know, listen! I don't know much about snake monster creature things. It's not really, you know...
She smiles and just laughs. I know.
You're grabbing the fucking pot out the fire without wearing the glove, right? You're hungry enough to eat, but don't be so hungry that you forget to fucking put the mitt on. Otherwise you'll just burn yourself and throw the soup all over the hearth. Yes, I've done that.
I wasn't gonna question you didn't. I'm just gonna trust you as a cook.
Well, if I've done that and I can cook as well as I can, it means it's an important lesson everyone has to learn.
Fair enough.
Lesson's fire is hot. So, how do we all feel about this, as he just gestures around?
I'll have to wait and see in my case, but I think this might have been good for everyone.
I think so too.
I second that. Yeah.
How are you, Karunka? Are you feeling a little calmer now, lad?
Yeah.
Oh shit! And he kind of reaches for the flask. Can I take that back now? I know what happens when you have a little bit too much.
The guy just has a very quick. What do you mean?
Don't let him near food.
I'm sure you'll find out eventually.
That's just even more cryptic. Touché. He just says it's away from Brooke.
So, shall we let them clean up?
Yeah, let's...
Yeah.
You can see occasionally Thalandra's kind of been gesturing beyond the curtains for a few attendants to wait outside.
I'm going to leave first. Yes, I'm just gonna leave. She just turns around, and just leaves, waiting outside the door.
Yeah.
Yep, I guess I'm gonna head back too.
I'm gonna linger here about 10 minutes or so. I'm gonna help with the repairs.
That's fair. I'll see you all tomorrow, probably.
Well, are we still meeting on the beach tonight once everything's over?
We should.
Mixing up with tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is it? I thought we were meeting up on the...
late it can be, I think, right?
I remember we were all gonna do our things and then meet up at the beach.
That was the original
and
plan.
Then
we made a schedule and everything sort of got compressed. I think the dreams were going to be the last event of the night, and then we were going to springboard into tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll say in character, are we still going to meet up at the beach tonight?
Oh, I think everyone got a little too excited with all the options, and we might not have time. But we got 3 days here, so there's plenty of time for all that.
Okay.
Just over the earring. I'm tired. I'm gonna head back to my room.
Okay. Well, we'll all know where we're going then, and we can just meet back at the rooms. Take care, Dejar. And as she says she's tired and going to the room, he's gonna sort of grab onto Velm really quick. Will you help me with her tomorrow?
You were super quiet. I did not hear a word.
He's going to quietly say, "Will you help me with her tomorrow?"
I don't know what I can help with, but sure, if I can, I will.
I think just you being there.
Well, yeah, of course you can count on me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Are you sure you're alright?
No. I'm not sure I'm alright. But I'm sure that I will be. I just have to figure that out. And you know what? If I need your help, or anyone else's, I'll ask.
Alright, good. And,
Like, if you need help to ask me. Okay?
Hasn't stopped me before.
Good. Good.
Give him a pat on the pauldron. Just clang, clang.
Alright. I'm gonna help fix up here for a few minutes. I'll return.
Alright, I might be in bed already by the time you get back, but...
Might be for the best.
Okay.
Sweet dreams, Philip.
Likewise, Angus. And he will skedoodle off as well.
So, as mentioned, it'll be Gronka, Tajar, and Vellum, but all three of you sort of retiring for the evening. Angus headed out on. Angus, you said you were headed out on the town.
I'm gonna stay here with her for a minute, and I'm gonna begin casting mending.
Okay.
To help repair some of the surface burns.
Okay, and with that, you are very easily able to help sort of fix up the chamber. It only takes maybe about an hour of work, sort of replacing all the plants and the veils and other things that have been burned along the way, the pillows, the cushions. But yeah, it's easy enough to do.
Yeah. And then, we talked a little bit about it before, but he would like to go scout a place. Is that an option? Are you ready for that, or should we...
Scout a place?
The, who's gonna go check out the store place? The Ember Room?
Yes, okay. So, as you...
Or should we wait off on that?
Yeah, I was about to end here. So you kind of saunter your way off into the streets of Itzel. You scout out the Ember Room. We'll end it here.
Rama.
Oh boy!
Some heavy shit.
With that, I will stop recording in 3, 2,